Alright, with this image I want to try to do a little work in Color Effects Pro. So I'm going to right click on it, send it to Photoshop. I go into Edit In, and then to Photoshop. It'll take a minute to load. Okay, once I'm in Photoshop, I can come down to my Selective Tool panel and look for Color Effects Pro 4. Alright, I'm just going to try out some different effects on this image. First of all, I'm going to try the Detail Extractor. And you get some tools over here. I could try increasing the Detail Extractor. Alright, I don't want to go too crazy. I'm going to go about 33. Contrast, you could see a little bit of contrast. Okay, I like that. Saturation. I don't want to go overboard, but I do want to have a little bit more contrast in there. And I mean a little more saturation. Alright. Let's see about the shadows. That's brightening them up a little. I think I like them darker. Highlights. Not seeing much of an effect with those. Alright, so I think for this one, I like the effect. I'm just going to say OK. It'll save it into Photoshop. It'll give me a new layer with a mask if I want to make any adjustments after the fact. Okay, here's my new layer, and here you can see the layer mask if I wanted to make any other adjustments to that effect. Alright. I think it brought out a little bit of noise in the background though. But I'm going to do some more things to this photo. I'm going to go back to Color Effects and try something else. Okay, what am I going to try? Brilliance and Warmth. I want to warm it up a little bit. So, here's the warmth level. I don't want to make it a funny color, but here's a blue tone. And here is the yellow tone. I'm just going to warm it up just a small amount. Bring out those gold colors. Send it back to Photoshop once again. That's the before and that's the after. Alright. Now, let's run define on it, see if we can get rid of that noise we introduced in the background. Alright, so it applies a profile automatically. It samples the photo in different locations. You can see these little boxes here. And it does look like it cleared up the noise that was in the back. And I still have nice clarity up front. So I think that I am good just with the way this is. I'm going to say OK, and it'll send it back to Photoshop. Okay, I think I'm going to save this right here. Say yes. So that'll be my color version. Send it back to Lightroom. Alright, so that is the after, and that's the before. You can see the difference. So I'm going to mark this one with a little higher rank. Alright, now I'm going to send it back into Photoshop because I want to try and make it into a black and white. See how the black and white compares to the color version. So I'm going to go to Silver Effects again. Silver Effects Pro 2. Alright, I like it just the way it is right there. So, but let's see what else we have. I like kind of this view where you can see before and after. This is interesting. Bright version or the dark version. What do you think? Let's see. One with high structure. That's kind of nice too. That's a darker version. High key. Full dynamic. Now, full contrast. Oh, a sepia. Yellowed. Really old. That's kind of cool. I think I'll come back and make a version like that. Pinhole. That's interesting too. But as far as a straight black and white, I liked what was going on up at the top. That's similar to what we started with, and then there was this. High structure. Like a little more contrast. Okay, I like that one for a straight black and white, so I'm just going to accept that one. Okay, and I'm going to save it. And then I'm going to do it over again and create one of those other effects. So I'll go back to Photoshop, edit with Lightroom adjustments, and I'll go back to Silver Effects Pro 2. All right. I liked the effects down here, the ones that were pinhole and antique plate. So yellowed was also interesting, but the effect is very harsh. So I'm not sure that I like that. Antique plate 1. That's kind of cool too. And we have antique plate 2. Or pinhole. I think I'm going to go with pinhole. It's an interesting grainy effect. And then I'm just going to save that one. I might go and make the third one. I really liked one more effect. And then I'll compare them and see which one I like better. Alright, so back to Silver Effects Pro 2. Okay, this time I'm going to try the Antique Plate 2. Sort of has an Old West feel to it to me. So I'm going to say okay. Okay, then I'm going to save this one. Go back to Lightroom. And I'm going to highlight all 4 of them. And then come over to the library and compare them all together. Comparison view. Get rid of the tabs to make it a little bigger. Alright, so we have sort of this Old West look. We have sort of a normal, more standard looking type black and white. We have a pinhole black and white, and of course the color version. Even seeing them all together, I think they're all interesting. I like the black and whites better, so let's just narrow that down first. And when I get to this part, I think they're all good. It's just that, you know, they would serve a different purpose. They have a different mood to them. You know, like I said, this one feels Old West. This one feels really old pinhole. This one feels like a little more modern black and white. So I'm not sure which one I like better, but I think they're all pretty interesting. So I hope this video helps. It shows you a little bit about how to use color effects and how to use silver effects. And they're both great plugins, so give them a try.